Hello viewers, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are we all? I promised you a reading on William Barr, and I will do that today. I'll also try and answer a few of your questions, particularly in relation to Romney. Of course, he was marching in the Black Lives Matter march with the Christian group, and I've had viewers come forward and say, well, are they actually having Romney up their sleeve in case Trump has to resign, and then they put Romney in? Well, Romney certainly is presenting as a viable alternative, and the other question is, where's Pence in all of this as well? But first, let's just get started on Bill Barr, my favourite topic, because he is the enabler, the main enabler. If Barr wasn't there, Trump's power would be completely gone. It is no small thing to wield the power of the U.S. Department of Justice. All right, so if you go back to my other readings, you will see I feel that the Trump presidency is in its closing stages. More and more pressure is mounting on the GOP Senate, particularly those senators, to hold this president in check. And Republicans, respected Republicans as well, are coming forward. Go back to my most recent reading on the GOP. All right, so there are a couple of scenarios that could occur here that I still feel are very relevant. I do feel that Trump in some way, once information that comes out, there's a lot getting ready to come out, may actually be asked to step down if there is a crushing electoral defeat in front of the Republicans. Now, there's that saying that the senators will only move away from Trump when his opinion polls go into the 30s. Well, his opinion polls are, I think the current one is around 38%. If it falls much lower, I think we're going to start to see some real pushback. This isn't 2016. And Trump is in no way assured of an election win. In fact, I've never seen him winning the election. All right, so we also have the Georgia primaries, what some people are describing as voter suppression. That is a state that has long suppressed the votes, particularly of African Americans. But we'll leave that for the moment. Let's just go to Bill Barr. So much to read on, viewers, so much to read on. Okay, so I want to see, why is Barr so afraid of testifying? He's been asked to come before the House, Jerry Nadler's committee. He is refusing to. As I understand it, it was an invitation to come and testify, or he was asked to come and testify. He wasn't subpoenaed. Nadler has been flexing his muscles and saying that if Barr doesn't appear, he will reduce the Department of Justice funding by $50 million. Now, that's interesting. All right, so is Barr afraid? I mean, my intuition is that he's afraid of perjuring himself. Why is Barr not appearing before the House? Is Barr not appearing before the House because he is afraid or worried about perjuring himself? A whole bunch of cards came out, but I won't take them. Is Barr afraid of perjuring himself? I feel that is so there's the obvious partisanship, but I also see the wielding of a sword. So that tells me that he is afraid of the truth coming out. So he can't testify in case the truth comes out. He would have to deny and fiddle around the edges like we've seen him do time and time again. And of course, at this time, it would be an absolute schmozzle. All right, is Barr afraid of perjuring himself? I think that there's your wielding sword there, the Page of Swords. So this is the truth coming out. He also doesn't want that. This sometimes is the spy in the camp. He does not want to bring anything forward that would be detrimental to his cause. And what is his cause? Protecting this Trump presidency. However, here's something you must know about Bill Barr. He is a battle weary, and the question is the other element of this card. For some, it is sort of feeling weary after that battle, but there is also an aspect here of possibly being wounded in battle. So very interesting cards here. I also don't feel that he takes the House very seriously, because that's not a King of Swords, is it? So here's a man that is wielding his own power, albeit not the sword of truth. Let's see here. Look, he's manipulating and juggling, and he'll juggle for as long as he possibly can. Let me bring the laptop down. Yeah, look, that it is again the Democrats in the House wanting answers. This is my card, or one of my cards, for not just the Democrats in the House, but this kind of movement that saw the win in the midterm elections. So he's very conscious of anything he says adding to the likelihood that Trump will lose that election. Yeah, look what we've got crowning the reading: death, ending of something. So again, I reiterate, this is the ending, I feel, of this presidency. It's just got that kind of feel. The energy, whenever I tap into it, it's been this way for months now. Whenever I tap into Trump's presidency, it shows me an end. All right, let's see what is in the imminent future. Yeah, he's trying to run out the clock, which is his best strategy at this time, to run out that clock so that he doesn't contribute in any way to the ending of Trump's presidency. Is he afraid of perjuring himself? He also wants to show a strength and endurance. This is a show, a flexing of his muscles. But this also is the other element of the strength card is that it's your last card in the pack, and it comes forward when you're, a little bit desperate, because the environment around this question is having to defend oneself. If you look at what is coming for Barr, that is the Seven of Wands, having to stand your ground, having to continually defend yourself, and for good reason. Look, the protection here is for the president. It's both a hope that he, as you can see, protects the presidency, but it's also in the fear position as well. So he could fear saying something that will contribute to the ending of the presidency. He's being judged for it, and this is an inevitability. So again, these are two major arcana here, along with the Strength card and the Emperor. This is talking about the inevitability of an ending, both for Barr and for Trump. There's nothing that he can do. This is an inevitability. He will eventually have to address the House. But Spirit is also bringing forward this beautiful star of hope here in succession, and I feel Spirit really wants you to see those cards. Beautiful. Suspension, trying to stall things, but the inevitability is playing that waiting game. The inevitability is that his power is also coming to an end. So this is part of his deal or contract with Trump, but not just with Trump, with others, with the Republican membership itself, for those that Barr looks out for, perhaps even answers to, who knows. But this is all part of bringing forward this smoke screen, so people just can't make a choice. So he obstructs in order to make it more difficult. I mean, in Georgia, you see this is voter suppression. but with Barr, you see this as obstruction of Congress, in my opinion. And we have the Page of Pentacles, which is interesting, always there in Trump's reading. We do have the King of Cups. Sometimes the King of Cups in reverse can be quite a, I guess, well, they're not supportive, they're not benign, they're not nurturing, they're the opposite of that. So we do have the Eight of Wands here, lots and lots of cover-ups, I feel, that he's trying to accomplish. We do have the Queen of Cups, though. He's just not going to be successful, and ultimately there is loss and walking away. So I do want to see, so yes, he is doing all of those things in order to protect the presidency. Mostly he's trying to run out the clock. That's his main strategy. Let's see if he will appear, because Nadler, as I said, has threatened to fine. He needs to actually subpoena. I guess they do it the nice way first, and then when they don't comply with a subpoena, then obviously there are remedies there. Let's have a look. So will Barr appear before the House? He'll wait until the last minute, I feel. Will Barr appear to testify before the House? Will Barr appear to testify? Will Barr testify before the House? Yeah, it's part of this strategy as well. The longer that one waits, the colder the trails go. Let's have a look. Will Barr eventually testify before the House? I'm feeling he will. Yes, we do have the Sword of Truth here. And again, I go back to my previous readings where I say there's one thing that they can't control. They cannot control the truth, because ultimately it does come out. So that's also a yes card. And we've got the Democrats. They're going to get serious about getting Barr in. I love it. Absolutely love it. They're going to use whatever powers they have, the laws at their disposal, to bring forward Barr's testimony. Wonderful. The Ten of Pentacles. This is money, my card for legacies, money in politics. That is the foundation of the reading. This is also the my card for the Trump organization. So that is at the foundation of the reading. And ultimately that will be Barr's undoing. When information does come out, the truth can't be stalled. Well, it can be stalled, but it can't be prevented. It is coming through. It is coming out. And the fact that the Ten of Pentacles has come up here shows me that there will be a time when that whole truth is laid bare. We do have the review here, having to go back to the drawing board. I think Barr understands he can't stall forever. But crowning this reading is putting as many obstacles and challenges in front of that as possible. And this is also just rank partisanship that we see so often in that Congress, where norms are thrown out the window. We saw that right through the impeachment trial. Immediate future is, it's going to take a lot to get him in there. But the Democrats are ultimately going to be successful, actualizing something into reality in the present. So the Democrats could all, at the moment, be working on a subpoena or even working on that reduction in funding. Then they're not going to play around. They're disappointed, but there's also an offer here. So they're going to make some kind of offer. This is all negotiations, I feel. The hopes and fears, this is the fear of the truth coming out, and this is the drive toward the truth. And we've got the Page of Swords, which came up in the first reading. Here's our Democrats again. They're not going to stop till they get him in. And he ultimately won't be able to resist. He will be worn down one way or another. at the base of the pack here is holding back the information with this Four of Pentacles. He's very insecure that he might not only affect the Trump presidency, but also hurt himself in some way. We do have the Fool, trying to get that new start, but because the information has been held back, because ultimately he has been acting like the president's personal lawyer, it gives him great cause to worry about what secrets he has kept hidden that will ultimately be his downfall. So, yeah, we go back to his commitment contract with Trump and the Judgment card. So, ultimately, he's going to have to talk. No way around it. He's worried about that sort of truth being wielded. He's trying to have this last show of strength. But we've got that Nine of Wands cropping up, which shows that Barr is not as robust as he once was. He is getting increasingly worn down by the amount of cover-ups he has to do. All right, so I want to know, will they move to impeach him? I mean, he gave that order to send in those troops, and they did use the chemical capsicum spray, which is, quite harmful. So, that's going to be on him for all time. So let's just go to, will Barr be impeached? Will Barr be impeached? I feel the time that the Democratic Party may have wanted to do that, but time's running out, which of course is Barr's modus operandi, run out the clock. Okay, let's go to, will Barr be brought to justice? Will Barr be brought to justice post this presidency, or even before? Okay, so what have we got here? Oh, too many cards falling out. I can't take them. Will Barr... That's just my shuffling, but it is retreat here and being that wounded, mortally wounded in battle. Will Barr be brought to justice? Will Barr be brought to justice? Yeah, I'm feeling he will. He can't escape it. Look what the card is. The card is loss, betrayal. This is not a winning formula. We've got the Tower card. Interesting cards here. The King of Cups came up a lot in that last reading. This is also my card for the Biden administration when they do come to power. So I do feel, and this is where I'm at now with it, I do feel that Biden will take the election. But I do feel that there's going to be really significant investigations here. There could be some kind of investigation around payoffs or some kind of money here. Let me just get a clarifier. Yeah, the harsh truth. So this is, crossroads I do feel for Barr. This is, of course, some kind of news coming out, secrets being uncovered, the work that he did to perhaps bury those secrets, and we do have the ending of restriction in some way and new starts here, and here he is again. I feel there's something around the coin with Barr that may come out later on down the track. So I'm feeling he will face justice, but perhaps not until there's a new administration. All right, so let's see. Okay, let's see what how much more is he going to do for this president? Because there are some thoughts now that wanting to activate the army, bringing the army or your military in to police your citizens, which Esper, the Defence Cabinet Secretary, resisted, and other generals resisted Trump's and Barr's inclination or want to do that. There is some thought that Esper might be fired. So let's just deviate for a minute and let's just ask that, because time is getting on. All right. Okay, so let's look at Mike Esper. Will he be fired? Will Esper be fired? Defense. I think in a way Trump, pardon me, Trump is not afraid of Esper, but Trump is paranoid, and he feels that he has all these enemies everywhere. He sees Esper as being in control of the military, and he's a little bit afraid of that. He's a little bit of a bit afraid of firing Esper, but I did get the push toward the firing. Let's see what the cards have to say. I do feel he wants to. This was a plan. This could even be a plan once the dust settles to actually get rid of Esper. Challenged by loss, he realised that the plan would be seen under the current circumstances. It was a step too far. We've got the Hermit. He's still thinking about it. This is review, introspection, trying to work out a way that he can do it. He certainly had that plan up his sleeve, which he didn't bring forward. I feel that there were those representations to try and stop him, but he hasn't ruled it out. He hasn't completely ruled it out. The imminent future is ending, so I'm feeling that he may actually do it sometime in the future. It's all in the timing, I think. So we have the Queen of Swords again, stirring up. He could even have thought he would have been impeached for doing that, because there we have Nancy Pelosi there in the House and full illumination. So I think what stopped Trump was the fear that he could actually be under another impeachment investigation. This is someone being out of control here. This is mind confusion and instinctive, radical kind of unchecked behaviour here, and it is a fear. The Five of Cups in the outcome, that's loss. And we do have the clarifying card as celebration and victory. I feel that actually he won't listen to good sense, and he will actually fire. Because here we have the Ace of Wands, which is a plan, and we do have endings and new beginnings, and we have the might of the Trump organization. But I do feel that he may go one step too far and fire Esper, and I do feel that would push the House to take that as almost it's around trying to effect a coup. And I think that would be a step too far. I think that they may even move to impeach him, and I don't know how. Clear and present danger. I don't know how they would do it, but they would start to do it. Now let's see. I've always thought there may be another impeachment. It's all down to Congress to try and control this president now. Let's see what those GOP senators would do if he fired Esper. He was going to, and he was talked out of it, but I feel he's going to wait, and he's going to do it anyway. Okay, because he's not mentally stable. All right, so what would the GOP senators do if Trump fired? Show me, Spirit, what the GOP senators would do if Trump fired Esper. If Trump fired Esper. They're cowards, all of them. We've got the smug merchant, the Nine of Cups. We do have the Queen of Pentacles. You know, it's their interests all the time in front. And we do have the lies and deceit. So, unfortunately, we do, you know, when these cards come forward like that, I have to remind you that you've got the voters, you've got the majority coming forward here. So the GOP isn't in a winning cycle. It's what they took in the past from Trump that stops them outing him in any way, that they would be disendorsed, etc. But this is the way they're feeling. But they are restricted, every single one of them. This is not a bastion of patriotism in the GOP Senate. So they'd probably just let it lie at this point in time, but I think the House would move forward with something. I don't know your constitution well enough to know what that would be if he fired Esper. It could be ready for a showdown on that one. All right, let's have a look at Romney. Is Romney being positioned by some Republicans or a group of Republicans as a viable alternative? Yes, he is. That was very, very strong. Romney is being positioned as a viable alternative to Trump. Show me some cards on that. Is Romney being positioned as a viable alternative to Trump? Absolutely, they're telling me. We do have the secrets, so it will be, again, in the timing of what comes out about Trump. And a lot's going to come out because we've got the sun. This waiting game too, so they're waiting. They're waiting until the information comes out and the judgment comes in, and then they'll move in that direction. Wow, there could be this could be a coup against Trump. He quite rightly should worry about it was the Ides of March, but the Ides of something, because they're waiting until there's full illumination and ending. Which will bring an ending, and they're playing the waiting game. So Romney's there in the wings here. We have the disappointment there in Trump, and we do have the Democratic Party and the Tower moment coming for Trump and the GOP. And it will be around his financials, that news, that money news that will possibly come forward, I feel, with the Supreme Court or any of those court cases. There's just so much waiting to come out. All right, so let's have a look at... I will do Trump over the next 6 months for you. One of my viewers rightly pointed out I did a timeline for Trump back in 2018. I did see a lot of this year happening, but I was a year out. I want to see what's going to happen over the next 6 months to test that timeline as to whether Trump will stand down at any point. I've always seen that he won't even get to the election, but I could be wrong. You know, this is just my intuitive impressions, and while my strike rate is very good, you know, we're human beings, we're not perfect. All right, so I think I'll leave that there and we'll move into something else. I do think, just in relation to Pence, his opportunity to be positioned as someone to move into, you know, if anything occurs and Trump can't face November election, his opportunity is gone because he's too closely associated with Trump. So Romney is there in the wings. They're playing a waiting game. All right. I'll leave that there. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll come back with another reading soon. Thank you.